G'day and welcome to the 58th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. This week we talk about the Eater of Worlds raid Lair and our impressions, we talk about Masterworks and how we're not getting enough of them, and we have a great time as per fucking usual. Cheers! G'day and welcome to the 58th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. A bit of a subdued beginning, I think. I don't know why this has happened, but I'm in a bit of a, chill mood.
I just feel like we can have some Christmas music.
Yeah, I know. Maybe.
Post-production.
I might have to add it. There we go. Any requests, Matthew? Just jingle bells, maybe? Let's go with that.
Yeah,
How are we,
put
dudes?
some jingle bells in there.
How are we?
Good, thanks.
Slothy?
Good.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
Okay.
So it's been I mean, like we've had this run of really big weeks, and sort of, there's always been something happening every week, and as is the same with Destiny this week. Just the gift that keeps on giving at the moment with maybe not giving too much because Masterworks appear to be incredibly difficult to get, but how's your week been in the internet sphere, boys? What have you seen? What have we been up to? All that sort of shit. Matt, you've been doing your videos. I've watched them studiously.
Yeah, I've been feeling really good about the lore videos. Feel like just have more time to. It's weird. Like I just giving myself more time to think about ideas for videos and just enjoy making them more. And yeah, eventually been getting a lot of videos out and have enjoyed making them and enjoying talking to people. So that's been really good. Obviously there was Same 14 added, like a quest line that came out with one of the Lost sort of prophecy verses, which is sort of already predicted, but it's continued to sort of go on because when I made the video, I only saw the database quest lines for it. I didn't know when it was going to be activated, and then people started actually getting the quest line after they've done some of the forges, and then get access to the room where Saint 14 was. So that was cool and not cool. Cool like oh sweet, Saint 14, not cool. Ah shit, he's dead.
It feels like a bit of a backhander. I'll say that as a Titan, OG Titan for forever. I think all of us have been probably looking forward to meeting these characters, or at least seeing them in action at some point, and to have basically, the most badass Titan of them all just dead, just levitating.
There's an item description somewhere that says all good Titans are dead. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, well, that's not true because I'm still going around, but fair enough.
But yeah, that was cool. And then did Eater of Worlds with you guys. So that was, I think we'll get on to talking a bit more about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I started some Forge stuff because I hadn't done anything. And guess this, my very first event, I got the rare. You either got to get 10 commons and then upgrade it to a rare my very first event on Mercury dropped a rare, and I was like, what's everyone talking about? This is easy.
Should we just kick him from the call now?
I don't know, man. It's just how people fucking carry on the internet. Oh, you've got streamer RNG. You're a Bungie shill. You're on the payroll, man. It's corrupt.
Bungie shill is Bungie.
I call bullshit.
Yeah.
So, Slothy, how's your week been, brother? You've had a big week, probably.
I've had a fucking very large week, man. Knocked over Horizon Zero Dawn. That is fucking incredible, that game. I love it.
Wasn't there expansion on it or something?
I haven't done the expansion yet because someone doesn't own it on PlayStation.
By the way, this is Sloth using my account and then criticizing me for not purchasing the expansion.
You serious?
Man.
Fuck.
But no, so knock that over. That game is incredible. Really, really good story-based game. And did a few Bungie things. Didn't actually get a chance to do the raid as of yet, or to have another crack at the raid Lair. But yeah, it's like a lot of good conversations came up this week about Prometheus Lens and dropping weapons from trials, and weapon pulls in trials that came up on stream and all that sort of thing, which was interesting to talk about. It's good to see that people aren't just yelling unintelligibly. At least in my broadcast. So it's
except
good
for you.
Well, I mean,
but you're allowed.
I can't even speak English, but I'll listen to anyone who has who says I don't like it because X. The thing I think I can't remember who said it, who tweeted it. I retweeted it and it said, when people come into your stream and say this game's still people still play this game, Destiny, why don't you play something else? I want to play Destiny because I like it.
Yeah, just people got to shit, man. They just come in and shit on things just because they're shitters and they're shit and their life's shit. So, they can eat shit. That's a lot of shit.
Yeah, they can eat shit.
All right, well, look, we're going to do something a little bit different just to start off the cast this week. Now, it's been a long-held dream for a member of this podcast to do his own drama channel. He's now I'm going to have to wait for him to come back.
Just removed his headphones and then
walked off.
Left the podcast.
All right, well, that he took the wind out of my sails. I just wanted the angry face, really. That was all I was chasing. I even made him a theme song, man. Check this fucking shit out.
Look, the thing is, some people might be just listening to this to just do it anyway, and they can just imagine Sloth having an angry face.
Yeah. No, hang on. He's going to sit back down. All right, buddy. I promise I won't fuck with you anymore. I promise. Yeah, so anyway, here we go.
Drama Alert with Sloth.
Drama with Sloth. Sloth, go. What's the drama
Sloth,
this week?
tell us all about the drama.
This is your new segment.
All right, we'll stop fucking around. Matt and I were talking in a chat yesterday, and just to explain the backstory for this, and Sloth, we were talking about everything that's happened with Dr. Disrespect and all that sort of stuff, and Sloth called us out for being a couple of drama queens. But he's worse than we are, so anyway. All right, let's get into some actual fucking Destiny, hey?
Yep. Let's do that.
I think we need to make sure we have a guest from now on, just so he keeps some modicum of professionalism, because we shit at it when it's just the three of us. Well, at least I am. Anyway. All right. So, just before last week's cast, the Eater of Worlds raid Lair was released, so we didn't really have any time to put together an opinion or experience it or anything like that before we went live. So we're going to jump right into that, it being the oldest piece of news that we've got. So, boys, how do we feel about it? What was your experience like jumping into it? Matt, I did it with you the other night, so ours is probably going to be similar, but still.
Yeah. I mean, I think I like the whole idea that with each expansion, the raid doesn't become like redundant immediately. Like, I really do like that idea that they add on these new bosses and new encounters. And I was pleasantly surprised that the lore of it is very sort of consistent. Like, it wasn't like massively left field with some random encounter. Like, the lore of Eater of Worlds made sense, and so and the armor pieces make sense. So like, it's in my mind the whole Leviathan raid in Callus has some of the best lore in the game and is the most consistent, and it's proven that again with the DLC. Short and sweet. I think the first. For those who haven't played it, there's sort of like a jumping puzzle at the beginning, which I think probably overstayed its welcome a little bit. I think maybe doing it for the very first time, it would have been interesting, but I don't know. That first part seemed really boring to me. Maybe it's going to get spiced up a bit with the prestige version of it. But once you got to the actual sort of boss encounter, I thought that was really good. It was short and sweet. I think we knocked it off in an hour, but everyone had done it except for me and Log.
Yeah, and we were dead weights anyway.
I don't know, like
we went all right.
It felt like it felt about the right amount of, you know, of course you want like longer stuff. Well, not always. I think like, you know, the hardcore guys are always going to want more challenges, but I don't know. For probably us, you know, we've got a lot of other things going on, and it felt like a nice sort of medium to be able to jump in there, do like a new encounter, and get some new gear, and then, you know, head off. I liked it.
I had a good time with it. I thought that I'll agree with it. The kind of artificial lengthening it by the platforming section at the start is like it felt a bit cheap. But having said that, it's a different friggin' beast, man. Like the whole raid is this, like, we were taking the piss out of it, calling the this is how it feels to chew 5 gum, with all these fucking bits where you flung around here, there, and everywhere, and it's kind of got this really different vibe of, you know, getting catapulted through the guts of a massive machine, and, you know, the bit where you're falling down amid all the rocks and trying to get the little I don't know, they look like halo rings, whatever you want to call it. There's just I think there's definitely enough there that it's enjoyable, and it's not overly sweaty, and it's not overly hard once you know the mechanics, and it does require a good little bit of teamwork, everyone breaking up into their 2-man teams. So I imagine that people will be absolutely fucking ripping through it come, you know, in a few weeks' time, when people are really dialed in their strategies and shit like that. I mean, they probably already are, but overall, I mean, I haven't looked into the lore of it, so I'm kind of interested, Matt, to get what you took out of it, because I honestly haven't had a look. I know that the dude's name's Argos, and I fucking killed him. That's about it.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll touch on that. Slothy, what's your experience been with it?
So we attempted it. I've only attempted it once. We got through most of it, or we got through all of it with not really sort of any issues. From a purely technical standpoint, it works really well. But the DPS checks during the Argos second phase fight,
where you're damaging him.
Yeah, when you were like, we went as far as going to call it head, shoulders, knees, and toes, because, you know.
Fair enough.
But we had a few issues with DPS, not for any other reason, as that we were just figuring out as we went on. I'm sure that people have figured out like a proper or like a decent weapon to use and all that sort of thing. But I really enjoy the raid Lair. It's well, like Matt said, it's short, sharp, to the point, and it's done well. And I think that's sort of reflected in the campaign as well. Or sorry, it is a reflection of the campaign for Curse of Osiris. It is short, sharp, sweet, and done well. So I'm pretty happy with it. Still need to clear, but you know, got 3 months.
It was nice to have like a DPS more focused one, don't you reckon? Like
rather than really heavy mechanics.
It felt very reminiscent of a D1 raid, with, you know, like a small mechanic leading to a DPS phase, and I think that was actually pretty enjoyable to sort of go down that path. I mean, the puzzles definitely weren't, you know, I really do think that jumping puzzle at the beginning let it down, but everything else leading up to it was also, I think, a lot of feelings of like Vault of Glass, like with descending into something massive, and just I think they nailed that feeling, because if you listen to like Luke Smith and stuff when they were designing Vault of Glass, they wanted these like areas where you can like goof off and like connect with your fire team, and they had that with the not the gauntlet, the freaking, oh my god, delete my channel. the harpies in the Vault of Glass.
Yeah.
The Gorgons.
The Gorgons.
Do you know, there was this idea, you jump up a big cliff, and they sort of had that in the Eater of Worlds, where they, rocketed you out, and then you could, like, go down.
Yeah, the bloody
and,
GoldenEye gun barrel, the James Bond gun barrel, and, like, shit to look at and shit to have a laugh about. And, Sassy's in our bloody raid party trying to take fucking selfies while he's flung backwards out of a cannon. So...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think those things are easily glossed over, like that add to the experience that don't really it's like an intangible benefit of it. Like just a funny little thing to do for 10 seconds can really, really change the way you feel about it.
I 100% agree with that. Hey.
Yeah.
The thing that sort of really got me with that particular part is that you've got this this ship that looks, well, it's very, 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 very turtle. I've just had a fucking brain fart.
Cabal.
Cabal. It's very Cabal. Thank you. And then you get shot out into this sort of area which is huge and beautiful and really, really well detailed. And you can, like, if you look out the mouth of the Leviathan, you can see Nessus out there and all that sort of thing. And from the amount of people I speak to about Destiny, from my own channel to Matt's channel to Log's channel to the amount of other channels that I watch, the people that really sort of connected over was how well the raid was done and how pretty it was, that final area.
Yeah,
it was really, really pretty, really, really well done. I think design team, well done, Bungie. Your design team, well done.
It would have been nice for like, just imagine if Curse of Osiris was in general received better, because that would have really been the cherry on top.
Yeah, right.
But rather than being the cherry on top, it was sort of like maybe the saving grace.
Yeah.
rather than the cherry on top.
Yeah, it was received, but the thing is, though, but this is my last little bit before we move on, but, was it poorly received because it didn't come with its own raid, or was it poorly received because people have already a really sort of
skewed expectation?
Skewed expectation of Destiny 2 and its content at the moment. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not the be-all end-all super fix that everyone was hoping for. And if you actually thought it was going to be a super fix, then you sort of need to get your priorities straight. But it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a percentage of the community that are going to see shit because they want to see shit. They're angry, they're upset. It's not the game they wanted, and they're not happy about it. And you know what? If that's your opinion, that's fine. But just keep
it away from me, because I really just couldn't give a fuck about what you think.
I agree. There are aspects, and definitely after having a week to think about it, or a week and a half now, of Curse of Osiris that are a little bit underwhelming. When especially with the Saint 14 thing, I thought they had a really cool opportunity to maybe the whole Saint 14 story could have been like a 3 or 4 mission saga that came out 2 weeks after, and kind of it was this drip fed thing that you then needed to get into a little bit later, and kept it little bit more information coming out. But it is what it is, and I'm not unhappy with it, and I don't understand the aggression around it, but whatever.
Well, the aggression's there because, as Darwin's has said in the chat, it's recreational outrage. And
I have not read that before, but that is I'm keeping that. Thanks, Darwin's.
Anyway,
I think we've already spoken about that stuff.
Moving on with a little bit of the lore side, so a little bit of Matthew's side here, but excuse me, Argos was the planetary core. Now, and I have nil by idea about the planetary core and all that sort of thing, because I just haven't read any lore or looked at any lore this week. So Matt, if you want to do a quick once over of that, man, that'd be really good.
I mean, I need to look into Argos a little bit more. I don't think anything else was introduced, but the basic premise was he was like the Nessus core, which I think a lot of people actually predicted that the Leviathans, sucking up Nessus, and Curse of Osiris was a Vex expansion, so we'll fight the Vex in the Cabal raid, which was really cohesive with the storyline. So I think I would put Argos in the same boat as the baddie. What's his name? Pompatius, the campaign Vex mind. Like that was the Vex mind of Mercury, right?
Yep.
So they ended up making, they convert planets, and at the core of them is this Vex mind, and so Nessus had sucked up one of these Vex minds that was causing grief for the Leviathan's belly. So we had to be the what do you call it? Something with heart there.
we had to be the Pepto-Bismol of the fucking of the Leviathan.
I prefer to see myself as Yakult, but anyway.
This is the thing that sort of confused me. There is what you said. I didn't realize Nessus. I thought the threat of Nessus being sucked up was there, and that's how he drew us into to the raid. I didn't realize that it was actually he started.
That's true.
Did not realize that he was actually
it was underway. You'd think of mind core would be pretty heavily buried in the core of the planet.
Now that you say that,
maybe it's from somewhere else.
That does confuse me, because the Leviathan's always been. I mean, this suits into the general lore about how Callus recruits into his empire and how he finds shadows of Callus. So when they introduced 2 new weapons. By the way, I don't know if I told people, but in the Eat of Worlds, I actually got the shotgun during that raid with Log, and it is dope.
It is savage.
So they introduced the shotgun,
the Masterwork version of it.
Did you get the Masterwork version of it? Wow.
It's the only Masterwork I've got, and I'm like, everyone's like, what even fucking is that? I'm like, oh.
Is that a guaranteed drop?
I don't know.
I wouldn't say that.
No,
I wouldn't say that
because I didn't get it the first time around.
I did not. He didn't get it the first time around.
I got it when I did it this current week, not last week.
Oh, you didn't get it before when we did it?
Nope.
Okay.
So
all right then. But those items are quite good lore wise for essentially Eater of Worlds further supports Callus really wanting us to join his army. I think it's a shotgun. It's either the shotgun or the grenade launcher. I'm just pulling it up now. Basically ends with, I could have given you your final death, but I couldn't because I'm in love. And so he totally is digging Guardians and how powerful we are. And I believe it's the shotgun. The item description reads something like Earth doesn't have a shadow, not yet. And what he's referring to is a shadow of Callus, which is in that small sentence is really cool because previous shadows of Callus, basically Callus destroys the whole civilization, and then whoever's standing becomes the champion of that planet almost. Mm-hmm. So Raul, basically his whole battalion was killed and he was the last one there, and he's like, yo, you want to join my empire? And the same thing happened with one of the Scion fighter pilots. His whole battalion was killed. He was the last one standing. It's very what's that movie with Bruce Willis? Unbreakable or something?
Yeah. It's just survival of the fittest.
Yeah. So it was really cool because the shotgun's Earth doesn't have a shadow, not yet. And then he's like, I love you guys. So it's
it'd be interesting to see where it goes. I guess the other thing is too, you've got the Fulminator that sort of joined him under threat of preserving whatever the fuck, the conduits where her species lived. So yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where it goes because obviously it's gonna, with the next expansion we're gonna get further, more content. It'll probably go back to being more Cabal focused, I imagine. And I think they're gonna have a hard time tying any of the other races into it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how they add what they do with adding extra layers because I think I don't know how many more layers would they add until a new raid? Do you think new raids are only going to come with like?
My understanding of it now is that there's just the two, but I'd really like to see like any kind of this Curse of Osiris size expansion have its own raid lair, and then when we hit a Taken King, like serious big, earth-changing DLC, then we get a new raid, right? And this is the way they can kind of iterate on the raid as it's in progress and add to it.
This someone said this before in chat as well. Like I'm of the firm belief that the raid lair was a really good addition. I don't know how they're going to incorporate Fallen into the next one, if it is a fallen enemy per se.
It's pretty easy when you think about it, but all it's going to take is for Callus to go, all right, I've picked this Kel, and he has to defeat you to become a fucking shadow of Callus. There you go. There's your reason.
Yeah, but like,
I reckon that could work.
What I'm thinking is that, especially with the war mines and the next season per se, and all that sort of thing, I would like to see like delving into a vault of Charlemagne or something like that, because there are fallen down there trying to pinch parts or trying to organise a hostile takeover to bomb the fuck out of us and take the Traveller, because it's now another golden age. That sort of thing.
I think you're probably right, to be honest. I think if the Leviathan stays around and they add more layers, I think they'll tie in the Fallen with Rasputin, because it's been a pretty sort of mesh topic. Like Fallen, Siva, and War Mines was pretty much Rise of Iron. So I think they'll probably, let's just say Fallen get into a War Mine again and they get tech, and then they're like, they're scavengers. They could easily aboard the Leviathan, and then the same story. Callus is like, my favorite guardian.
You say that they can board shit easily. I know we're sort of getting a lot off track here.
It's all right.
But
give it another 2 minutes and we'll move back.
The only reason why we were allowed onto the Leviathan is because he like I said before,
we were invited.
We were invited. It wasn't
we killed Gaul. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't quick, let's. It wasn't like the Dreadnought where we go, oh fuck, we need to break onto this thing. We need to set up a beachhead and go from there. No, I don't think that could have happened. But anyway, regardless of the point. But so moving into some more. Is this in the thing? It is not in the thing. So before we get into Masterworks and all this sort of thing, I want to talk about this Fall of Osiris origin story.
It's there. It's just on the next page.
Before, is it?
Yeah, go for it. No, now that we're talking about it, let's go.
Now. Yeah, we're talking about law, so let's do Fall of Osiris.
This is beautiful. This is great. I like the fact that they're sort of expanding on this in a webcomic type situation. Excuse me. It would have been a hell of a lot better. It would have been a hell of a lot better if they put it like if it was accessible in game, i.e., something we've said before, something we'll keep saying, a codex.
Yeah, right. Yep.
But this is incredible. It gives a very, very solid backstory to Sagira, Osiris, and all the Array and all that sort of thing. I really, really enjoyed this. Well done, Bungie, in that respect. That is also another step in not the right direction, but a good direction with the lore to have like they're sort of channeling what they did with D1. They put it outside of the game, and if you want to go and find it, like the lore heads, like this bullfed here, you'd be able to go. You're able to go out there and look for it, which is good. I like that.
I just think it's such a positive thing that they're building on the lore like in that way, because I mean we've all said it. If they put out books, we'd all be down at fucking Angus and Robertson throwing our coins over the counter to get them. Yeah, like I'd be all over it. I mean I haven't read anything in forever, but I would.
I think it's a really great way to complement and expand the universe, and I think that is something that's been really missing from D2 is that with the removal of Grimoire cards, there's not much. Everything's much more like in the present rather than like expanding the universe. So like, you know, when we got Rise of Iron, we had like Rise of Iron gave the entire Iron Lord backstory mixed in with the entire development of Siva by Clovis Bray and the Clovis Bray family.
Yeah.
If you look at D2, the universe itself hasn't really been expanded in regards to how things came to be. And it's very sort of superficial. So something like this has potential to expand the universe and to be cemented in the foundation of Destiny lore, because things keep changing and there are inconsistencies between D1 and D2 in regards to what happened. Like, for example, Akura Ray was not really mentioned as being the apprentice to Osiris. So that's a pathway that they've decided to take, because most of the lore points to Osiris being the apprentice to the Speaker. But now they're building this relationship between Akura Ray, who was actually a really interesting character that doesn't get much spotlight with Osiris.
You know what? In that respect, there's like you say that there's inconsistencies between D2 and D1. There are inconsistencies between D1 and D1, for fuck's sake. They have wholeheartedly relied on the community for a lot of their like lore tangents per se. So like they've got the Exo Stranger, and people have gone red line, clipboard, fucking tackboard and all that sort of thing, and people have tried to draw lines between that and that and that. And
Anon.
But you know, like this, I would like to see them more expansive, be more expansive on the lore, and to exit out of the game and actually talk about how they could do that. They could really bring in some dudes like on a purely contractor role, Bife, Anon, Kex,
Merlin Games,
Marlin.
Games.
Never heard of him.
No,
some fucking
just
bearded top knot having fuckwit. But no, they could bring in honestly, they could bring in Marlin and Bife, and people would like, and like you wouldn't have to even be, was it San Francisco that Bungie's based? You wouldn't even have to be there.
Seattle, dude, come on.
Since
fucking 4 years of this shit. All right, well, yeah, I think it's a fair point in that. I mean, it'd be a good move to get people like that on board, because it'd nearly buy back faith, right? Like the second people saw names that they like kind of trusted in that role to like help steer it, they'd be pretty stoked. But I think, I just think it's a good thing to be able to, you know, there'll be something outside the game for people to dive into, and hopefully it's thick and deep and, you know, expansive. Thick. Well, thick. With a double C, dude.
Like, my one concern is that I don't want web comics to replace, like, if this is where all their resources have been going for the lore, it's sort of like a double edge for me, because yes, I think it'll be really cool, but I also think like it's mostly appealing to people that haven't read any Grimoire cards or anything like that.
Yeah. And
for me, like, you read it once and you're done with it. Whereas the complexities of like in-game lore and Grimoire cards basically persist over the lifetime of, you know, like D1, I still have lore videos in D1 that I could have covered. Like, there are still things that I didn't talk about that I could have. And in D2, you don't really have that yet. So like, I'm completely excited for it, but I really hope it's not like, okay, this is our new Grimoire cards, and like that they don't improve the in-game lore, because the scannables suck balls. The scannables are awful.
And like we spoke about that. That the scannables, they were pretty average in the prior to COO, and now they've been taken out completely.
I think that's a sign that they've realised that they're shit, to be honest.
That's a good thing.
I hope so. Anyway.
But anyway, enough about the lore. We could sit
cross
here
our
and talk
fingers and
about
get
it for
excited,
hours.
right? Let's just get excited about comics. It's like being a teenager again.
I hope. Yeah, I hope they go down the path of comics, i.e., akin to the backstory of Overwatch. That's good. Like they've gone and gone. This is what happened off screen, and people can get involved in that. Anyway, regardless of that.
Righto.
So this with the 4.1.1 update also brought 4.1.1.1.1.1. Anyway, they've got Masterwork weapons and all this sort of shit. And Log was saying before he got the raid shotgun Masterwork. I got a sword Masterwork. It's a bit shit, but we got it anyway.
Yeah, same.
People have it gives us something to grind for. It's kind of incredible. I really like the idea of Masterwork weapons. People are saying that the anti-ape is really good as a Masterwork because it gives it that extra bit of range.
It needed it. Fuck.
No, sorry, not the anti-ape. The one of the other ones that is like this similar sort of. I can't remember. I think it was Atalanta D or something like that.
Yeah.
But that gives it that extra bit of range, so it is an anti-ape. So I mean, good on you.
I think it just adds a layer of depth. Hey, there's a layer of depth and something to chase. And the whole people complaining about now that it's too grindy. Just fuck off. I'm not even entertaining it. It is brutal. It is what it is.
I think it should. It's like this is like the same conversation we had about exotics. Like exotics didn't feel exotics because A, they were too easy, and B, they were too bland. And this is like halfway to being what exotics. You get excited when you get a Masterworks. Okay, that's a good thing. And there are people that want to have their entire loadout Masterworks, and I actually this is the first time in a while that I've actually felt like I actually want to get on Destiny and grind, because I would really like to have some of my guns Masterworks, because it's friggin' cool with the orb generation. No, it's not a lot, but just getting it, you don't get supers that quickly in D2, and getting a couple extra supers at Strike makes a difference, and especially if if we all had Masterworks, that's where I'm at. Supers.
If you're in the raid,
that's fun.
And there's 6 people with Masterworks, with primary weapon Masterworks or kinetic weapons as they are now, every kill everyone gets is generating orbs, or multi-kill. Sorry, fucking hell, it's going to be supers for days. Happy times.
Yeah,
it's a step in the right direction with the grind and all that sort of thing, but god damn, if you are one of those people who are complaining about not having enough to do prior,
just don't.
No fucking no. I'm going to address this. You're not my dad.
Sloth complaining about complaining.
Hang on.
No. I'm not complaining about complaining. No, don't you press that button.
Trouble with Sloth.
Just low key, this is the best thing I've ever made in my life. Sorry, mate, you were saying? All right, we'll move on then.
There is. Could you not be those people? Ask for something, get it delivered, and then whinge about it being too much of the thing that you were asking for in the first place? Fucking stop it. Stop it.
We're done.
All right. Okay, good.
Not fucking hard.
That concludes this episode of
Trouble with Sloth.
You are actually a cunt.
So what, it's taking you 3 years to work that out?
You are actually a cunt.
All right. Anyway, that's so I'm really enjoying it. There were a few tweets from Christopher Barrett, our fabled ship steerer of the Destiny. Well, what happens with Destiny now? And he said a few little tweets sort of leading to that we're going to be seeing Masterwork armor down the line. there will be changes to the mod system. So I think while we have no real information to talk about that, there's definitely going to be things to sink our teeth into coming around the corner. So exciting times, right? I've got that shotgun and it is savage and I am happy with it and I'm just enjoying, like, looking forward to getting a few new ones, right? Like, I haven't got anything that's any of the big ticket guns yet, the Better Devils or anything like that, but
there's lots of stuff to work towards now, like the vendors as well. Like, I've never been like a big cosmetic person, but I'm actually like, you know what, I would like that armor. Like, I feel like I want to grind to get some of those like ornaments and what the vendors are now offering. So that's a sort of, I don't know. I think if people feel like, I think the general, from what I've been listening to some other people talk about it, and people have said, you know, I feel like getting back on Destiny to grind stuff. And that's been a combination of everything they've sort of changed. And that is obviously going in the right direction. If people are like, I'd rather get on Destiny and do some grinding than play another game at the moment, that's what they wanted to aim for, right?
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, the grind, back in the grind. All right.
Anyway, regardless, so moving on to the event that is starting in 7 days.
Not even, it's 4 days.
Dawning.
It's the 19th, isn't it?
Shit, my date's the fucking...
What year is it? Fuck!
The date on my computer fucking blue screen to death fucking 13 times yesterday. Anyway, so in 4 days, 3 days, 19th of December through to the January 9th. So there's a few things that I would like to, we at the DDU would like to let you know about. Snowball fights can be used to stun enemies in strikes. That's pretty cool. It's just something that's a little bit random. It's a little bit of fun, you know. Fuck it, why not? Let's throw a snowball at a dreg, stun him.
Does this mean they've really gone to the effort of like putting snow in every fucking strike?
I don't know.
Like, is it going to be fucking snow everywhere, or just on the ones on Earth? Like the ones on Earth, fine.
It's a good point. They said you could do it in strikes and stun enemies and stuff.
Maybe they're a consumable.
If that's the case, that's the case. You know, that's a little bit of, you know, elbow
funny.
in the ribs, a little bit of elbow in ribs, a little bit of a giggle. You know, tickle the funny bone. That's good. I like that. That's a little bit of humour that sort of shone through with the Prometheus lens thing, and they've continued on with the Dawning. So a little bit of tongue in cheek never goes astray. Does never go astray.
I'm just imagining like 3 Guardians just pinning down some poor thrall in an endless cycle of
stun lock some fucking
stun locking just one thrall.
If you're wondering what kind of 3 Guardians would be stupid enough to do anything like that, probably watch the YouTube version of this clip, because all 3 of their faces are on screen right now, because that's the first thing I'm going to be doing.
But the next thing that's coming in is Mayhem is returning to the Crucible. So if you want 100,000 fucking golden guns a game, you've got it.
It's beautiful. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, I think it'll be crazy, but it'll be good.
Yeah,
good fun.
It's a bit of random. It's a bit of fun. So more power to them. Now this is the thing that is got a few people salty. Is 1 Dawning engram per milestone per week per character. So that is 3 if you're on one platform, 9 if you're on all 3 platforms. Does that make sense? Understand? Yes. Good. And you can buy them if you miss out. So if you are one of those people who does the microtransaction things and wants to collect every single bit of armor ever for your character, go and spend $50 on silver and do it. I don't condone it, but if you want to, go for it.
I think I don't think you mean you get it's bright dust that you need to buy it, not silver. And that's the shit that you get from dismantling ghosts and all that sort of stuff. So there is ways that you can buy that stuff without fucking like making microtransactions, but it'd be incredibly time consuming. So it kind of sucks.
The thing about that is that you don't get enough bright dust from ghosts and ships and dancers and all that sort of thing to get the engrams. You don't get enough. It's not transferable. So silver equals bright dust equals engrams. Again, if that's something that you do, more power to you. I won't be doing it because I vote with my wallet, not fucking mind.
Don't you think that just as like an act of goodwill, considering everything that's happened, that they should have changed up that like?
No, it's a business. It's a business. It's never going to happen. They can apologise. They can tweet out. They can go on podcasts and all that sort of thing. And you have the people who defend it, vehemently defend it. You have the people who vehemently hate it, and you've got people like us in the middle. And that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, Activision is a business. Bungie is a business.
Yeah, okay.
Destiny 2 is a product.
Yeah.
They're going to sell shit in the...
no, and I'm talking about as a business because negative publicity doesn't do well. And there's so much negativity around engrams, loot boxes, and microtransactions. I'm sure they've considered, is it worth making this post and saying that you can get one pathetic engram for this event that only lasts 3 weeks? And if you've only got one character, you are only getting 3 engrams. And this is all the cool shit. But don't worry, you can buy it. I think that is a bad business move, considering all the things, every time they've said how many times have they said we've made a mistake now?
This is true, and that is all that's all well and good to say. But on the other side of the coin is there are people out there who have a lot of money, but also have financial independence for fucking I don't even know how or why, because they fucking burn water and can't tie their own shoelaces. And they say, I want all the cool shit, so I'm going to go get all the cool shit.
Yeah, but that's fine. If that's their prerogative.
That's how they make their money. And not everyone has the fucking common sense. That is not all that fucking common, to go out and actually make the conscious decision not to buy shit. It's the same thing with Overwatch. It's the same thing with
look,
Warner Brothers.
I think that we're just debating the nature of fucking microtransactions, and we've done this probably 5 times before now. But I mean, I think I agree with what Matt's saying. It would have been a nice gesture if they went, look, instead of it being fucking for bright dust, you can buy it with glimmer. Even if it's 20,000 glimmer per fucking engram package that you can buy, to give people the opportunity to buy it in-game without having to spend money on it would have been a nice touch. But that's not the way it is, so moving on.
Or, I mean, I'm not suggesting anything crazy like that. Or just like, why cap it at 1 engram per week? Just for that money. Milestone. Yeah, I know that. But
we know. Like...
I'm not having a go, but what is there not to understand there?
No, we understand.
What is to understand is Bungie needs to reform a relationship with its community, and that should take priority over microtransactions.
Absolutely.
And if they lose their community, there's no one left to buy anything. That's what I'm saying.
That is exactly right. But what Bungie, the heads of Bungie, do is completely different to what Deej does. You know this as well as anyone else on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt. Deej will try his best to go, listen, this is what happened. This is bullshit. We're sorry. But the head sheds who sit in their office with their fucking $3 million shoes are going to go, I need another pair of $3 million shoes. Microtransactions, fuckers.
Yeah,
that's just the way that it goes.
And look, and this is what Chad's saying, and this is what I am not seeing the Bungie that we used to know, and it reeks of just Activision saying like this is how it needs to be. Like I'm not seeing the community focused Bungie that was in D1, that had. That was talking to their player base and like just like decision after decision after decision that has been completely 100%. Like, how do we pull more cash from these people?
No, yeah, I get that. I do. But look at what Activision owns. Blizzard. And everything is Blizzard. Everything in Blizzard is microtransactions. Look at Call of Duty World War II. You open loot boxes in a social area in front of everyone else.
Yeah, I know.
It's you can no, like, I get where you're coming from, but the community aside, people are always they're always gonna pay for them, and they're always gonna be in there. And that's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Vote with your wallets. Don't fucking buy the things, because that'll send a message to the people at the headshed going, oh shit, maybe we shouldn't fucking put that in there. Because then, but people will always do that because there are dumbass fucking people out there who, have financial independence. Dude,
don't go calling people dumb because they're going to spend money on something that they want. That's not the problem. The problem is the fact that we're in a climate where this is an accepted business practice. The cost of making video games far outweighs the fucking money that they'll return just by selling the original copy of the video game, especially with a title like Destiny. And they need these reinvestment opportunities to be able to take fucking money to support the game. I don't even know. They're probably, I doubt they've broken even on D2 yet. It would have been a huge fucking outlay. So, do I like it? No. I don't like it. Do I make fucking microtransaction purchases occasionally when I've got fucking $15 spare? Do I begrudge the people who have the expendable income to do it? No, because it doesn't really impact on what you can get in the game. But I think in this instance, I'll totally agree with Matt. It would have been a very, very nice touch for them to kind of fucking at least dial down on that. Like, improve public relations by going, you know what? You can, if you work hard enough, you can get as many engrams as you want. Rather than
that's all I'm saying. Yeah. You can still purchase them. You can still purchase them and that kind of thing. But just like considering the climate, it's blatantly obvious. Like, I mean, anyway, it's exactly what happened with the whole loot, the bright engrams. It's exactly the same thing.
While we're all ready to fucking just chuck a rocket up something. Can we talk? It's not on our run sheet, but I'm just going to add it because we're pretty much at the end anyway. So, the Prometheus lens was patched, and you can now get gift consumables. So that was the end of the actual run sheet. So we can talk a bit of freeform. I might open up the chat to everyone else and see how you guys feel about this. But the whole Sloth's got fucking Mylan written behind him. He owns you. He owns you, motherfucker. My idea, and the thing that I've been questioning this week, has been with the whole Prestige Leviathan ending up behind a paywall, and then they've repealed that, and now it's back at the normal level so everyone can access it. The thing that fucking annoys me most about this is that it's all in service of a system that means absolutely fucking nothing in the game, right? It's all about this raising light level shit. If we get rid of the light level thing, then all we're doing is paying for an expansion that gives us access to different armor pieces and different fucking activities, right? And this whole, you need to have your light level raised shit, it goes away. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything now. Do you think that ultimately people would be happy with that? Or they would feel gypped that they would be like, oh, well, I paid for a fucking expansion and I didn't even go up in light level, power level, whatever the fuck it's called these days. Because me personally, I'll say that I wouldn't care at all if the whole thing was just banished. If buying the expansion got me access to more different weapons and new activities that were otherwise inaccessible without buying it. I don't want anyone to miss out on the shit that they bought in the core game, but if I pay for an expansion, I want to be able to fucking do the expansion stuff. That's all. What do you guys think?
The power level thing, I wholeheartedly agree with. I don't think it should have gone up. But the reason why, I can see why they did it. I can see why they have a level increase. And you saw it a lot in World of Warcraft and all that sort of thing as well. You had a level increase because it keeps people who don't fork out for the new DLC or the new content at a level. And what the difference between what Blizzard does and what Bungie does is that Bungie locked out core content. And I think because they didn't add a new raid and more content, it's a bit they have, you know, I would say stood in their dick, but they've shot themselves on the knob end for that with a shotgun. Like, and I don't mean that as a joke. Like, the backlash from that is brutal. It is brutal, and they absolutely deserve every single piece of it.
Yeah, I think this is the really weird thing with like Destiny, because I do think it's in this own genre of itself, and it's got this mix match of different genres in it, and it's like they apply the World of Warcraft subscription to it, right? Where, you know, the MMO subscription style, where if you're not on the subscription, you don't get gear, you don't level up.
Well, if you're not on the subscription in WoW, you don't play.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't. You don't have access to the game if you don't pay for the subscription.
So that's that model, and it's like because Destiny is like a bit of a mix match of everything. It's like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't sell a base game, and then like a month later, and then like transfer to like basically a subscription model that's covered up by DLC. Like, that's pretty much what happened. Is like, this is now a subscription model, and the subscription is, if you don't pay for the DLC, we remove content. At the same time, like, I'm a little bit disappointed that the levels went back down. Like, this is a talking about, like, I want the value from it. Like, I'm cool. Like, I got the DLC. Like, I want to get more powerful from it because then it has meaning. But you can't remove that from people that you've already sold it to. And that's why I think it's like, it's in this area where
they're in a rock and a hard place situation, for sure.
I think Bungie needs to work. Bungie needs to not take bits and pieces from other models and design their own way of how this genre works and be inventive with that. And that's tough. I don't know.
The reason why they didn't do that is because all they'd be trying to do is reinvent the wheel. It's either go with a premium economy. It's either going with a premium economy where you introduce this massive amount of content every time there's a DLC drop, i.e. Destiny 1, or you go with a freemium pay-to-play economy, I guess you could say. Thank you, Jim Shirley. So, a subscription-based service that will lock you out if you don't pay for it. You can't mix and match with the two. You know, like I'm going to go out here and say, it's not even out on the limb. 100,000 fucking million people have said it before. Go with one or go with the other. There's no in between that works. And you know, like with the D1 model, and like I said, you know, like if you if you are going to go as far as to get people to pay for DLC, introduce a very large amount of content. And that kind of worked for D1 and kind of didn't, because there was always a content drought in between.
Yeah. And it's like, I agree. And I think this DLC way of doing it, as long as they don't remove things, is fine. But I think the value for money probably needs to be bumped up.
I agree.
I think Log made a valid point. If you're going to be playing the DLC, you'll be buying it. So, from what I said there, you know, before, like, I'm okay. I'm annoyed that they locked out people who just wanted to play the base game, but I also came to the conclusion after Log and I spoke about this at length, is that either you want to play the game and keep playing it, or you don't. So, you know, like, I kind of get where they're coming from, but it's still a bullshit tactic. It's a bullshit tactic, and it locks people out, and it's fucking wrong.
Do you guys get the impression that with some of these things, they just try and shit on? Like, we'll just see it, and if there's a fucking backlash, then we'll fix it. But and that in itself just builds so much fucking antitrust, man. Like, it comes back to that, Matt, and you touched on it before, in that you don't feel like, where Bungie in D1, you felt like they were on your side with things. you feel now like, fuck, I might be getting bent over here and I might just not realize it yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it feels, and you know what? I was listening to the DCP podcast, and you know that's sort of what they brought up, like the brand name of Bungie, and there was, you know, so much faith on the back of their previous works, and then, you know, Destiny 1, new genre, definitely listened to us, and we got to this point where, you know, a lot of people were really happy with it, and you know, after 3 years, had a fucking outstanding community and player base, and you know, we really started to hit those highs. And then I think a lot of that confidence is rocked, and you know, it comes back to Bungie, even though the decisions probably come down from Activision. And I honestly feel like Bungie has lost control of their game.
Yeah,
I feel like they've lost control of their game, and that comes from the higher ups. And you know, the example on the other podcast was, you know, the guys that make Witcher. What is it? CD Projekt Red, or whatever it's called.
CD Projekt Red, yes.
Yeah. So like, you know, look at that brand. You don't even need to watch a review if they're going to release a DLC based on their previous history. It's like, I'm going to get probably 100 fucking hours of gameplay in Witcher for a DLC. Do you know?
Yeah.
And it's always consistent. And I think now that we're in this rocky period, like people. This is what happened to a friend of mine. Didn't get Curse of Osiris. He was in the middle of an Iron Banner match and got kicked, and the content got locked out in the middle of a fucking match.
Are you kidding me?
And he was like, dude. He was like, I just got kicked, and then the symbol blacked out.
Wow,
and he was like, oh well. He was like, fuck it, I'm not buying it anymore. That was your average consumer. That was your average player of Destiny. That has a family, has a full-time job, and jumps on maybe once or twice a week, and that was his experience.
Mm. And if you're not playing as much as a broadcaster or a YouTuber, a content creator, blah 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 blah, you know, and you don't have that spare amount of cash, it's a lead weight.
I think they need to, but I think at the moment this is what it is. The DLC comes out, you have a core audience that will play it and then not play it, and they're sort of slowly getting back to the game. They talk about this in their own podcast, the game that people want to log into every day, and we're slowly moving back to. Like, I actually feel like, normally on my Saturdays, I like to just chill out. I actually feel like I want to go, oh, Danny, the podcast is still going. And then I just load up D2 with you guys. And play a couple
it's a fucking long episode this week.
It's a long episode today. It's 5 hours.
So much to talk about. Oh, well, you know, look, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, because it's something that I've been kicking around for, you know, a week or so. But it's pretty clear that there's no clear-cut answer, right? Like, no matter which way they go, there's going to be hang-ups and ugliness. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. I mean, personally for me, I'm pretty heavily invested in Destiny, so I'll probably be buying future DLCs, but I totally understand the people who have made the decision not to. And it's kind of, especially when you look around and there's other titles coming out. I mean, Fortnite, as much as it's not my cup of tea, a lot of people are having a really good time with it. So ultimately, if you're going to go and seek out a good time, more power to you. But I'm just going to close out the podcast this week on a little story that was touched on in the TWAB, at the back end of the TWAB, that the Traveller of Guardians clan, a fire team comprised of 6 deaf players, managed to finish the Eater of Worlds thing. And like, when you think about how communication heavy that is at the back end of that raid, I would absolutely like to commend that effort. I think it's fucking wonderful. And
that is absolutely
an inspiration
amazing
to the rest of us who are just maybe a bit shit at Destiny and try and make excuses for it. You know, like, if you can overcome that, you can overcome anything, right?
I guarantee they were using symbols, head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
I'll try and find some more information. Right, I'll try.
Because no, honestly, I'm thinking like, so they must have had a video feed up, like a Skype call.
Yeah, I think they did.
And be doing sign language to discuss the encounter, and then probably emotes in game to coordinate. Must be.
It's incredible. It really is incredible, and you know, like if I could sign to these people, I would absolutely say
fucking yeah.
Well done.
Just a thumbs up.
Well done. Well done. Really, honestly, fucking well done. That's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Well done to those people. That is. A lot of people in my community, especially who don't use mics, they're afraid to do the raid because they think it's a hindrance on the team. And then these people go out and do that. These deaf people who enjoy the game and they love it. So, well done.
Good on
Well
them.
done, guys.
All right. Well, we're gonna bug out. We're gonna piss off. But it has been a pleasure, dudes, as always. And Matt, have you got something you'd like to say to make our audience's skin crawl before we leave?
The law will find you.
All right.
Just before you fucking do your thing, I just want to apologise for calling those people dumb. You're not dumb. I was just angry, and I say stupid shit when I'm angry.
It's all right.
You're not dumb. You're just different.
You deserve
You're
it.
different. and I don't mean that in a bad way. You're just different.
Drama alert with Sloth.
See ya.
I am fucking keeping that forever. Bye.